as well. That is okay, sir. We'll share the presentation from here.
Good afternoon, sir.
अब आप बात
हाँ,
करो उनसे. आप पहले पीपीटी शेयर करो क्योंकि वो इसी फोन पे है.
हाँ. Good afternoon, sir. Sir, screen is visible to you, sir? Sir, is screen is visible to you, sir? Sir? Yes, sir. सर उधर उधर नहीं आ पा रही है सर. जी सर, 2 मिनट सर.
यस सर. सर आवाज आपसे पूछ रहा हूँ. टीम्स पे आवाज आ रही है?
नहीं आ रही.
सर मुझे फोन पे आ रही है. इफ यू आर ऑन द सेम फोन देन टीम्स पे होल्ड तो हो जाएगा सर. या Amit, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Amit, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Sir, PPT is visible to you, sir?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir. So, sir, I welcome you, sir, on behalf of Civil Engineering Department and and IPSA family. Um, Thanks a lot, sir. It's an honor for us that you have delivering a lecture for us. And sir, shall we start the proceedings?
Yeah, yeah.
So I request Professor Richa to give a brief introduction of our speaker.
Good afternoon, everyone. Now we have our second keynote speaker with us, Dr. Dilip K. Singh sir. Sir is presently working as Deputy Director in MP SDMA Bhopal. Before joining SDMA on deputation, Sir has served Disaster Management Institute Bhopal for more than 15 years. Dr. Singh is Master's in Applied Geology from NIT Raipur and PhD in Geological Geotechnical Hazard Management trained at Asian Institute of Technology and Asian Disaster Preparedness Center. Works as senior faculty with over 19 years of
चालू हो
working
चुका
experience in the field of natural resource management, geological, hydrological, and geotechnical hazard management, ICS training and application of science and technology in disaster management. To his credits are over 12 research papers, 7 consultancy assignments, and prestigious training program for the government officials of MP and other states across India. Sir, I welcome you on behalf of Civil IPSA for your lecture.
Sir, your voice is very low, sir.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
I'm audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So friends, good afternoon. This is Dilip from State Disaster Management Authority. And in next coming 40-50 minutes, we'll be discussing about the features of earthquake, causes, its impacts and management. And I will try to focus mostly on the geological considerations as the entire presentation of the this training program I see is containing the civil engineering part and other issues. There are contents of geospatial mapping, there are contents of landslides and disaster management structures as well. And I feel important to discuss about the geological consideration of this topic. So I'm moving towards the next slide. Next slide, please.
Sir, again voice is gone, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The previous one. Oh, okay. Okay, it's good. So in this slide, a brief issue is written that the causes of most of the earthquake are the tectonic or the non-tectonic. You must be aware about the tectonic causes as it is connected with the plate movements, and almost all of the earthquake that are recorded nowadays or reported nowadays, or you are coming across all these days, are associated with plate movements across the globes. These tectonic earthquakes are also associated with the volcanic activity in any geological terrain. However, there are few events of earthquake that has occurred, and it is due to non-tectonic causes, as the landslides. Few of the dam bursts in the historical past. They've also created some features like earthquake, as well as artificial explosions are also responsible for creating earthquake. In simple way, if you want to define the term earthquake, it simply dictates the term that is the shaking of the earth crust. Normal shaking of the earth crust is known as earthquake, and this shaking can be because of the tectonic reasons or the non-tectonic reasons. Some few days back, you must have heard about the Beirut explosion. Just after that explosion, just because of that particular explosion, there were shock waves created, and they created earthquake to the tune of a magnitude of nearly 3 on Richter scale. Yes, you can imagine uh, if you have gone through the clippings of that explosions, the entire event, and the corresponding uh, figure matching with the Richter scale that was showing magnitude 3 earthquake. Yes, you can imagine how strong energies are generated because of earthquakes. Next, please. This is a beautiful slide I've captured uh, from a book on earthquake engineering issues, and this is the picture captured from California. What you can see here is,
Sir, sir, your voice is very low, sir. Actually, your voice is breaking.
hello,
Yes, sir. Volume is very low, sir.
hello.
Yes, sir. Now it is coming, sir.
Okay, okay. Try to concentrate on this slide. This is very important slide, and being most of the fraternity from engineering side, it is very important for you all people to see how you visualize the earth and what exactly there are structures on the surface of the earth or beneath the surface of the earth. Try to concentrate on this slide, which shows there is slippage or there is relative displacement of the two sides of the roads. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. You just try to concentrate on the yellow central line, and the report shows that it is displaced nearly to the tune of 1.5 meters on the ground. What you see here is the the impact of a specific earthquake that is showing surface rupture, and that is recorded on the ground surface. If you just try to concentrate just adjoining side of the road on the soil part, you won't be able to see the lines. Means lines are there, but significant signatures are not there. So the rupture of this particular earthquake on surface is visible on the roadside, but it is missing entirely away from the roadside. And these signals, these earthquake signals, are available in the vicinity where we live and where we go through, and we usually ignore these earthquake features in most of the planning process. We'll discuss next about this particular feature. This breakage is the basic, geological structure that is known as faults. Why it is important to know about earthquake, or why it is important to discuss about earthquake, is because, next please. What is important is because an earthquake is a phenomena which has potential of uh, destruction for an individual, and it has the potential of destruction which affects a nation. Means it can affect a local population or it can affect a nation. In many of the cases, it has affected the entire nation, and the productivity of the entire nation has gone wasted because of earthquake. It also damages huge buildings. It also causes a lot of damages to the infrastructure as well as the lifeline services. Environment is one of the key areas which are not at all considered to be affected by earthquake like disaster. However, it has got tremendous impact on the environment of that particular geological region. It can also disturb the socio-economic conditions, and many of the earthquakes are associated with secondary impacts like liquefaction and the fire events or the fire events in city areas or the developed areas where gas or fuel services are supplied through pipelines. Next, please. let's try to concentrate on few of the issues that are associated with earthquake as earthquake terminologies. The first issue is focus. This is the place of origin of an earthquake, which usually lies below the surface of the earth. You must have heard about a few of the earthquake that were recorded just yesterday. Yesterday in Indian continent, we have recorded two earthquakes, one in the Jammu and Kashmir area, and second is in the northeast region. And both the magnitude of both the events were near to 3 to 3.5. The focus of all those both the earthquake were nearly 10 kilometers below the surface of the earth. So this focus is the point of origin of the earthquake, which lies below the ground surface. Then there's a point known as epicenter. Epicenter is the nearest point from focus which remains at the surface of the earth. Means almost all the earthquakes that are named in Indian areas are known from the name of its epicenter. Sorry. For example, the earthquake of 2001 as known as Kutch earthquake, as the epicenter of that particular earthquake was near to the city of Kutch. Focal depth I have just discussed. That is the distance between epicenter and focus is known as the focal depth. Next slide, please. Then one more important issue is understanding about the intensity and magnitude. I will try to describe both the issue in very simple way so that we can avoid confusion in understanding these two terminologies. Intensity is usually measured in the MMI scale, and there is another scale that is also known as that is being used worldwide is known as MSK scale. Normally, we used to use this Richter scale, and the magnitude is recorded on this Richter scale, and sorry, the magnitude is recorded on the Richter scale, and worldwide, this is the the recording of the earthquake is being done on this particular scale and distributed across the nations. If we want to define magnitude, this is the scientific measurement of energy released for a particular earthquake. And this scientific measurement is done on the Richter scale. If we try to compare the intensity from magnitude, intensity is the physical impact of that particular earthquake that is recorded on the MMI scale or the MSK scale. And this scale is divided into 12 different sections, starting from one with very low or nearly negligible impact up to 12. 12 is total devastation, that records total devastation with landscape changes. So basic difference between these two things are intensity is the reflection of the physical impact of that particular earthquake. Suppose in desert area there is an earthquake with no physical damage, then the intensity will be near to 1 or 2. But magnitude will remain same for that particular event. So these two terminologies are very important to know, and the basic difference is just magnitude is the scientific measurement of energy released during that particular earthquake, and intensity is the physical impact recorded or that is matched on the MMI scale or the MSK scale. Next, please. This slide is just to show how the intensity of an earthquake works in normal condition. Suppose you imagine that the 100-watt bulb is the epicenter of a particular earthquake. In normal condition, the nearby areas where the brightness is more, you can assume much more impact of that particular earthquake near to the epicenter. As you go away from the epicenter, you will have less impact recorded for that particular earthquake in normal condition. So intensity decreases with the increase in distance from the epicenter. If you see the same slide in context of magnitude, the magnitude remains same near to the 100-watt bulb or the nearby placed book or the distantly placed book, because magnitude is the scientific measurement of that particular energy for that specific earthquake. So it remains same at the epicenter or away from the epicenter. Now the next point of consideration here is normally we tend to think that as we move away from the epicenter, the damages because of that particular earthquake will be lowering. But scientifically, this is not correct. If our level of preparedness or our buildings are in poor shape, if they are poorly constructed, and even if it is placed away from or it is placed far away from the epicenter, that particular earthquake has got the potential to damage or destroy that particular buildings that is placed away from that specific focus or the epicenter. So construction plays a very important role while measuring the impact or while mitigating earthquake hazards of that particular area. Next, please. Next, please.
Yes, sir. I have changed that. Is it visible now? Sir, is it visible? Sir, can you hear me, sir? Just a moment. I will call sir once again.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Now we are again getting your voice, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Sorry for
Sir,
disturbance, friends.
sir, is it visible now, sir? Is it visible now, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yes.
visible. It's
Okay.
visible.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
this is the MSK scale, and similarly MMI scale is also there, and this scale is for measurement of the physical impact of that particular earthquake. And this is very simple to understand just by seeing the physical impact like cracks, the collapse of building, the failure of building. This scale is prepared, and it is very easy to understand without having the scientific tools. So there are 12 labels. There are 12 levels of this scale, and if you see the scale 11 or 12, it is showing that complete destruction and the landscape change. Means if the magnitude of that particular earthquake is nearly 8 or 8.5 or 9, then this scale is nearly equivalent to that particular magnitude. Next, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next, please.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The grades of damages. This you all must be knowing because mostly you are from civil engineering background and the planning background.
Sir,
Understand? Yes.
sir, voice is again breaking, sir. Sir, please keep the mics near to you, if possible.
Oh, it is kept near to my mouth itself. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The slide is showing the grades of damages. The scientific classification of the damages because of earthquake are shown like grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, and grade 5. Let's move ahead. Next slide, please. This is the cross section of our Earth, and I will try to focus your attention because here the geological issues come into picture. The energy that is required for a massive earthquake are generated in the mantle part, because this part it contains the semi-solid, semi-liquid stage of matter with huge temperature and pressure that builds convection currents that tend to move the magma from one place to another place in form of convection currents. And there are lot many convection currents operational below the crust, below our crust. So the source of energy, the most source of energy for triggering major earthquake is the mantle. And what we see the impact of that particular earthquake, we are mostly concerned about the impact near to the surface or at the surface only. However, the entire crust is disturbed because of earthquake. Next, please. Next, please. I'm audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Next slide. Yeah. This is the slide of globe. You must have gone through this slide during schooling, and I'm sure you must have avoided this, or you must not have gone through this slide during your engineering period. Most of the black spots that is shown on the entire globes are basically the hotspots of our Earth. Hotspots mean to say that these areas are associated with major earthquake events, because below these black spots there are numerous active faults working, as well as numerous convection currents are operational. And that convection currents are is strong enough to pull and push apart major continents. If you try to concentrate the eastern boundary of South American continent and western side of the African continent, you'll be able to match the boundaries of these two continents. This is one example where we can see how enormous these earthquakes are when they act on global scale. Please try to concentrate on these two sides of the South American continent and African continent. You'll be able to match the boundaries of these two continents, and these are the examples by which the theory of plate tectonics is proven, that our continent is moving, our entire crust is moving, and it is dynamic in nature. It is changing daily. We are not able to see all the minor changes every day. During earthquake, we get experience of shock. However, because of that particular earthquake, few of the continents move to a tune of centimeters to few inches. Next slide, please. Here. Try to make it full screen so that it can be played.
Yes, sir.
Are you able to see the movements of the continent?
Hello? Hello, sir?
You can see the movement of the continents?
Yes,
No,
sir.
sir. Sir, slides are not visible, sir.
Slide is not visible.
Yes, sir.
Please make it full screen. Please make the slide full screen so that people will be able to understand the movements of the continents.
Yes, sir. I make it, sir, full screen. I will do it once again. Now, is it full screen now?
It is full screen. Just push enter button so that it start playing.
Yes, sir. I have done that, sir.
It's
I am
moving?
able to see the movement.
Okay.
It is not full screen.
I not able to see the movement. Sir, is it visible from your side?
No. I'm not able to see it in moving phase. Just
Maybe actually, sir, we are facing actually.
Okay, then please try to share this presentation with the fellow colleagues.
Sir, is it visible now, sir?
No, sir.
It is visible, but it is not moving. Actually, somebody has prepared this slide, and this slide is specifically mentioning how the continents have moved across the globe in the geological past. In the left bottom side, it is showing the timelines. Please try to share this entire presentation with the participants so that they can see the slide in their laptops or in their machines, and they will be able to understand how dynamic our Earth is and how our continents are moving, how major and minor continents are moving. And in this slide, you will be able to see earlier in geological past, we were placed in the southern continent part, and now we have moved towards northern continental area of the globe. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please.
Sir, should I change the slide, sir?
Next, yeah. Please try to concentrate on these three issues that is written at the top of the slide. That is transform, the divergent, and the convergent. These are geological terms, and uh, uh, as a civil engineers also you must be knowing about these type of movements. These are basically the broad type of movements that is occurring or that is uh, uh, happening across the globe because of certain geological conditions. The continents are moving as a transform movement type. The continents are moving away from each other, and that is a perfect example of divergent kind of movement. And sometimes two continents are coming near to each other, and that is the perfect example of convergent kind of movement. In this slide, it is try to show you that how Earth crust is divided into different part. You can see the lithosphere part, you can see the asthenosphere part, you can see the continental area, you can see the oceanic areas, and you can see a combination of movements. These all types of movements, these broad three, apart from these three, there can be n number of combination of movements that is happening across the globe. And these movements are taking place near to the fault lines. So these fault lines are the zone of weaknesses where there is movement of rock blocks. If I'm saying, if I'm quoting the term rock blocks doesn't mean simple rock blocks of smaller dimension. If I am using the term rock blocks, it can be at the scale of a continent. Means in geological term, the entire India can be considered as a one block of rock. So in geological term, we use this as blocks, and the entire globe uh, is going through these types of movements, and these movements are taking place at the fault lines. And for this global movements or this movement of this entire rock blocks, the energy is given from the subsurface convection currents of that particular geological region. So this is interesting slide to go through, and it gives a good understanding of geological phenomena that is associated with earthquakes or the impacts of earthquake or the causes of the earthquakes. Next slide, please. Next slide, please.
Yes. Sir,
Yeah.
Should I change this one also?
No.
Oh.
Okay. This is okay. It is just to show the impacts of an earthquake. This is the first part is showing a phenomena of soil liquefaction. The second, the right side slide is showing the impact of Niigata, Japan earthquake. You can see the 5-6 story building, means various buildings of this dimension has fallen because of earthquake. you must be acquainted with the impact of the earthquake, that earthquake don't kill people. It is the building that kills the uh, life of that particular area. This third slide, again at this Philippines earthquake, it is also showing some phenomena of the soil liquefaction and some uh, failure of building because of that particular event. The next slide, please. Yeah, because of earthquake, land subsidence, landslides can take place. Next slide, please. Yeah, landslides. So because of earthquake, there can be failure of buildings, there can be failure because of landslides, there can be failure because of liquefaction. Next, please. Next slide, please. Yeah, because of earthquake, there can be happening of major fire events. And in few of the cases, the entire city was engulfed because of the rupture of gas and fuel pipelines of that particular city. So by going through these slides, you'll be able to understand the secondary impacts associated with earthquake event. So while planning, you need to take care of these things also. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now let us try to concentrate few of the issues that is associated with the seismic zonation of Madhya Pradesh, in particular with reference to the seismic zonation of India. Next slide, please. Yeah, you must have gone through this slide. This is the seismic map of India. You must be able to differentiate the 4 zones shown in this map. Zone 5 is dark colored red patch. Then there is zone 4, like brown color. Zone 3 is yellow to orange color, and zone 2 is the blue colored part. Just against the zone, there is a general statement of likely magnitude of that particular earthquake zones. In Madhya Pradesh, we are having the zone 3 and zone 2. And the entire globe is divided into 4 seismic zones, like our India has been divided here. Earlier, there were 7 zones. Later on, it was changed to 6, then 5. And this is the present state of mapping. And this is the latest state of understanding between the seismologists and geologists across the globe. And they are following this classification across the globe. So we have got 2 zones in Madhya Pradesh, zone 2 and zone 3. There are no zones that is known as zone 1 in any of the country. Means in any part of the world, if you are residing, you must be near to zone 2, or in the worst case, you'll be in zone 5 as per the seismic hazard is concerned. Let's move to the next slide, please.
It is taking time to change.
Yeah. Next slide, please.
Yes, I have changed it.
Yeah. This is the seismic map of Madhya Pradesh. I think most of the participants are from Madhya Pradesh.
Sir, they are from all around India.
From all around India.
Yes.
So, friends, try to concentrate on the state of Madhya Pradesh. You must be uh, knowing the general map of the Madhya Pradesh. What I want to show here is the yellow and orange part that was marked in the map of India. The vicinity of Madhya Pradesh was zone 3, and here the entire colored part, that is light blue to light pinkish color, it is reflecting the zone 3 of that particular map. But within zone 3, you'll be able to see the light red pinkish patch. And this pinkish patch is indicating hazard that is equivalent to zone 4 as per the classification of the earthquake. However, this scale of mapping has not been done for the other state of our country. If you try to concentrate near to Jabalpur, there is a red patch. Just to highlight that the event of 1997 earthquake, that red patch is showing the impact of that particular earthquake. That was magnitude of earthquake. The earthquake magnitude was 6 in that particular time, and the damage to that red patch was equivalent to the intensity of nearly 8 on MMI scale. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Means you need to concentrate, and you need to go through the database related with that Jabalpur earthquake that happened in the year 1997, and the earthquake magnitude was 6. Please try to concentrate on the northern part of this map. Try to concentrate near to Shivpuri area. Is it visible? Shivpuri area.
Sir, where, sir?
Northern district. Northmost is the Morena. Just below Morena is Gwalior, and below Gwalior is Shivpuri district.
Yes, sir.
Shivpur.
Yes, sir.
Just try to concentrate this area. There are earthquake event recorded in the year 1929, 1930. Is it visible? Shivpuri area. Yeah. Just top left side. See on your screen. Top left. Top left. No. You're going down. Please go upwards. No. You're moving in the opposite direction. Move toward north. Yeah.
Okay.
Towards right and above. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You can see Guna just above is Shivpuri. No. Just opposite side. Opposite side.
Yes.
Guna. Yeah, Shivpuri. Yes. Please try to concentrate at this point. You can see a 5.5 magnitude earthquake recorded in the year 1926, 1929, and 1930. And this is placed in zone 2. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
What I want to highlight here is, means zone 2 is not the guarantee of safety, or it is not the guarantee that you you need to take care of earthquake hazard in zone 2 also. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Because in general, this is the lowest hazardous area as per seismic zonation is concerned. This is the part of zone 2 with the chances of lower magnitude earthquake. But these records, what you are seeing here is, these are from the scientific database, and these are correct database, and it is showing that this level of earthquake has happened in that particular region, and that too is placed in zone 2 nowadays. Okay,
Yes, sir.
next please. Next slide please. Yeah. Please make it full screen.
Yes, sir.
Please try to see the map is same, but the seismic zonation lines has been replaced from the fault lines. I have used this term 2 to 3 times during my presentation. You can see numerous lines crossing the state of Madhya Pradesh. There are two kinds of lines. One is solid line, and the second one is the dash dot line. The solid lines are indicating that these are the active fault areas where there is tension building, where there is stress building still going on. These solid lines are indicating the active fault areas where there is tension building going on between the rock blocks. Here rock blocks means the northern part of the line and the southern part of the line. These two are separated from these lines, and these rock blocks are moving away from each other, and there are examples of various kinds of movement in these particular lines. So solid lines are indicating the hot spots. As on date, tension building is going on and stress is building, and it can release sufficient amount of energy which can trigger earthquakes. Likewise, in 1997, there was Jabalpur earthquake. Previous to that also, there were earthquake events in Jabalpur and other areas of Madhya Pradesh. The dot, the dash dot lines, it is indicating that these are the fault lines where there is historical records of earthquake. Means earthquake has happened in these areas in some historical time. As on date, no tension building is going on. But these are the zone of weaknesses, and it need to be considered while planning for means the developmental works in any of the city area. Is this clear to you?
Yes, sir.
You're able to understand these fault lines?
Participants, please reply.
Sir, we can see.
No, you can see you need to understand these fault lines, and there are two types of fault lines marked here. One is solid line, second is dash dot line. The solid line are indicators of active stress building site where there is possibility of earthquakes. And the dash dot lines, they are indicators of fault lines where there are records of historical earthquakes. And this,
So, sir,
yeah,
sir, I will ask later on, sir, the question
okay,
regarding this map on.
okay, okay, okay. You all are welcome to raise question. Let's move ahead. Next slide, please. Yeah. Now let us talk about the management of these particular earthquake. As engineers, you must be knowing about the structural and non-structural component of disaster management. Many of the faculties, they must have discussed about the mitigation features, the mitigation schemes. So for any kind of hazard, there are two types of mitigation available. One is structural and second is non-structural. Means all the participants, they are undergoing basic training or discussion kind of thing. Are we participating in any kind of mitigation activity? Participants, please reply. We are discussing about earthquake disaster management. Are we participating in any kind of mitigation activity?
Sir, actually, I am involved in assessment of seismic performance assessment of masonry buildings
Yeah.
and that fragility curve development of RC frame within.
Yeah. But my question is, just since last 30-40 minutes, we are discussing about earthquake disaster management, and we are talking about and we are discussing about earthquake disaster management. Are we participating in earthquake mitigation? My question is this, because we are we are undergoing a disaster management program. So the answer of my question is yes, we are participating in earthquake mitigation as we are presently engaged in non-structural issues, and we are trying to educate ourselves, or we are trying to make ourselves aware about the fundamentals of the disaster. Once we know the fundamentals of this particular hazard, we will be in position to manage the hazards further. Okay. So do's and don'ts, education and general discussion, these are also associated with mitigation activities. You must be knowing about the structural part, that is seismic resistant construction. Then there is site selection based on soil, geology and structure. As engineers, you need to go through this. Usually you try to rely on the borehole data and the engineering properties of that particular soil, engineering properties of rocks. But many of you must be avoiding about the geological structure of that particular area while planning for a major city, while planning for city planning. Means geological structures are not at all considered while going for major planning. This is very important from a structural component, from a structural point of view. And there are a few other issues that is linked with the structural component. You can go through these points, that is connection of non-structural parts, separation of structure, mass eccentricities. Then there are non-structural issues also, and few of the faculties must be discussing about the codes also. So discussing about codes is the non-structural issue, while implementing those codes on the ground is part of structural mitigation schemes. Next slide, please. Yeah. This is general awareness issue, means how to evacuate from a high-rise building. Please go through the issues here. How to do, what not to do. Next slide, please. Next, please. Yeah. These are few of the issues for your own safety as well as the safety of your colleagues when you are struck with a major earthquake disaster in any of the building. Please go through these. These are simple terms, easy to understand.
Sir?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Now we are getting your voice, sir.
These are general instructions for evacuation and for the safety of ourselves as well as the safety of other people. It is just for awareness, means how to handle a earthquake situation for yourself or for your family or your friends. Next, please. Yeah. Raise, rescue, alarm, confine, evacuate.
Sir, should I change the slide?
Yeah. Please. Please go through these issues. You need to rescue people, need to take care of the alarms, staircase. So with this, we come to the end of this particular topic, and I'm available for your queries now.
Participants, please ask your questions. Sir, one question was coming in my mind. Actually, at Dhar city there was a straight, solid line, red line, sir.
Yeah.
And Dhar is very near to Indore.
Yeah.
So, will it be possible that the earthquake may came because of Dhar as epicenter?
So Dhar as epicenter. See, there are lot of lineaments, lot of fault line already there, and you need to see where tension building is going on, because to understand the tension building activities need to do some research on the ground. Okay. And that red line is indicating that if it is a solid line, it is indicator of means tension building still going on. Okay. And that is part of Son Narmada lineament. Okay. And you need to take care that means hazard is not associated with the fault line near to the fault line only. This hazard is associated with the fault line up to a depth, up to a length of 200, 300, 400 kilometers away from that particular red lines. Okay. So you need to take care of that line as well as try to get cross section of that particular area. Then you'll be able to understand the geological condition of that Dhar lineament, because a major lineament is there, a major fault is there that is known as Dhar lineament, and you need to go through the published literature, and you need to consult or need to see the geological cross section of that particular lineament also. That is zone of weakness. Means in geological term, that is zone of weakness. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, from where we'll get that fault map, micro fault map of India?
See, microfault map is not available for the entire country in one place. You need to refer different literature. See, or at a smaller scale, information, seismotectonic map is a published document from Geological Survey of India, and whatever the information I have shown you in the map of Madhya Pradesh, that particular scaled information is available for the entire country on seismological on the seismotectonic atlas of India, and this publication is available from Geological Survey of India.
This map is having with you. If yes, can you share to all participants
No,
or interested participants?
I am having for the entire globe. If you are interested for a specific region, please let me know. I will scan that part and I will mail you that information.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Because that book, the size of that book is of A0 size paper, and that is nearly 40-50 pages in that particular book. Please try to tell me your area of interest, and personally I will scan that information and I will mail you for your reference.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I will mail you, sir.
Yeah. Any more question?
Sir,
Okay.
they can mail us and we will send to you for your answer, and we will revert back to them again, sir.
Yeah.
So,
So
sir,
with,
thank you very much, sir.
thank you, Amit ji, and thank you for giving me opportunity to talk with your participants. And
Sir, it's an honor for us, sir.
And we will try to be in contact. And my mail is there, my contact number is there, and please try to contact me for any information, for any scientific information that is available with the Disaster Management Institute or the state authority. We will be very happy to share with you the scientific details. Okay.
Sir.
So
Thank you very
very
much, sir.
Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Participants will come back again at 2:30 p.m. Thank you, sir, once again, sir.